This week on the StressLess Camping RV podcast, we're going to look at all the gadgets, gizmos, and RV stuff we've bought over the past 5 years of doing this podcast and decide, is it going on the way or is it headed to eBay?
As we repack our trailer, we're giving everything kind of a second look. So, you also heard that right. 5 years of the StressLess Camping podcast.
Woo-hoo.
So we're kind of celebrating, although we have no cake. But anyway, there we are. 5 years of StressLess Camping, and we're reevaluating those RV gadgets. Join us, won't you? Oh, I'm Tony.
I'm Peggy.
And we're two RV industry veterans who travel part-time.
In a small trailer.
Looking to help you and doggone it. I wasn't going to have to look and I blew it. Well, looking to share big adventures and help you with great tips,
tricks,
and discounts. And yeah, we've been doing that 5 years and I still don't have it memorized.
That's right. And
I bet a lot of people out there are like saying it. They're like, say
come
it.
on, you
like
know
Sam
it.
Kinison.
I know it if I don't think about it.
Okay.
If I'm feeling on stage, but if I know the notes are there, then I feel like I have to look at them for some reason.
Okay.
We, of course, don't have our small trailer right now.
No, it is literally right now in Indiana at Rockwood.
Yes.
And the wall is off, apparently.
Apparently. So we currently have a 3-sided trailer in Indiana.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
It's like a movie set.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of is.
Fun.
It's kind of. I kind of wish I could see it, but
I wish we could see it. Yeah. Anyway, so we will be going back to Indiana and picking it up and using it in not that long, 3 or 4 weeks, I guess. We will be back there.
Yeah, in fact, we just got an email. So our next big trip is going to be back to Indiana.
Yep.
To the Frog Rally, which is Forest River Owners Group. And we just got an email today from Frog Bob confirming we are doing 3 seminars there.
Yay.
So if you're going, come and join us. And there's other stuff that we have to go to a fall class if we're doing anything on the roof of RVs.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Should be a spring class. You have springs on your...
Boing.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, and then when we'll be in Indiana, that's right next door to Ohio.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll make it in, but we heard earlier this week that Ohio state parks are starting to put in like selfie stations. They put actually a little table or a little stand for you to put your phone on and say, hey, here's a good place for a selfie.
Yeah, apparently.
As if you can't figure it out for yourself.
Well, apparently they've got some great hot spots and they put, hey, you could do your selfie here and all of that. I don't know. I kind of like that idea.
It's kind of nice that they have the stand so it's not like long arm picture.
Yeah, I like the Mr. Long Arm picture.
Oh, I know.
Picture?
But every once in a while, like if it's a group of 4, we can barely get us all in. When it's a bigger group than that, our arms are not really long enough for more than 4 people. And then also we're going to probably spend some extra time in Indiana because we've got some other things that we want to do. We don't know where we're going to stay exactly, but you know what? It doesn't matter. We can boondock if we want to.
In fact, we probably will.
We probably will.
What we will be using is our Mastervolt power system that was developed by ABC Upfitters. And it's a great lithium and battery solution. So if you're thinking, I want to camp off the grid or I want to do more harvest host, that kind of thing, this is your enabler. It's if you're kind of solar curious or curious about lithium batteries, and you're anything from just a drop-in replacement battery to a total system like what we have, the folks at ABC Upfitters are just good people to talk to.
Yep.
And to do that, all you have to do is give them a ring at 574-333-3225.
That's 574-333-3225.
Yep, and they will actually answer your questions. And I've said before, they go from speaking from really understanding these systems, but able to
really help
like
you understand these systems. You and me. I shouldn't just say you as if I understand them, because I only understand what they can get into plain English. So
well, and the nice thing is the system just works, so you don't really have to
right.
understand these systems. If you're like, I just want a lithium and solar system I don't want it to be fiddly. I don't want to have to mess with it every time and wonder, is it going to work? They just work. Their solutions just work, and they're just really well thought through systems. So there are a lot of people putting lithium and solar systems in RVs, and I've read a lot of tales of woe, but none from people who've gone
right.
to ABC Upfit. So.
Right. Yeah.
Good people, good product, and they have a new website that's good too.
Yeah.
So, there's a link below. We have more information on our website, or again, 574-333-3225. Well, that is one of our favorite gadgets.
One of our very favorite gadgets. And what we thought we'd talk about this week is gadgets that we've accumulated over the past 5 years and which of those we would buy again. Yeah. And ABC Upfitters power system definitely is something we would, no matter what rig we are in, we will always want that system.
Yeah, it just works. And Amazon Prime Day is coming, and as you know, our trailer's in Indiana, so we had to completely empty it out.
Right.
And, we're like looking at all this stuff, and some of it's like, why do we have that?
Why do we have this?
Some of it's like, I wouldn't hesitate to buy that again.
Yeah, I'd like 2 of these.
Yeah, well, we'll start with that. And we're just going to go very briefly because just about every one of these we've either done a video about or written a story, or sometimes both.
Right.
So it's just, and in the show notes below, there will be links to all of these products, with a few exceptions, including ones that I didn't like. But anyway, so without any further ado, since we said buying 2, the first is the RVer water hose. And there are so many water hoses for RVs. This thing, we've frozen it. We've stretched it out in the sun. It comes in a bag. It's like a coiled hose. It's just, without a doubt, it's not a cheap hose. I would absolutely buy that again. Well, and we have 2 of them.
We do. We have 2 25-footers. There is an option of 50 feet, but we like the, kind of options of how to, if we don't need 50, why heat up 50 out in the sun? These, one of the great things about them is they don't get crushed. They've got the good metal, is it copper?
Fittings.
Whatever.
No, I don't know.
Whatever metal. Stainless steel fittings, on the ends. And
wow.
They coil like an old-fashioned telephone coil. And when we use them and we stretch them out to reach and we think, oh, this is never going to coil back up. Not so. They coil immediately back up and fit right back into their bag at the end of the trip.
We stretched them out and left them stretched out for like a week in the sun. And they just went back like
up.
A slinky.
Yep.
The next thing, also from our friends at RVer, is a tire changing kit. And you might say, oh, I'm just going to use what I have in the truck. Not necessarily.
It might not work on the trailer or on your RV, I guess trailer. Again, we know more about travel trailers. So some things that we say might not necessarily relate to motorized vehicles. Some do, of course. But the tire changing kit, if you're on a motorized vehicle, then that would work. Yeah. But for your travel trailer, your truck kit is possibly not going to work.
And it comes with a torque wrench. And I've used that torque wrench to put our anode rod in the back and back in the water heater. Believe it or not, aluminum wheels on trailers, the bolts can get loose. I don't know why. Even the Dexter axle people couldn't tell me why, but it's a fact. So it's just a good thing. It's a good safety thing. So any safety thing you can put in your corner, do.
Right. And then when it comes time to dump your black and gray tank, you certainly don't want to mess around with cheap hoses. And so we really, really have found that the Thetford sewer hose has been really great for quite some time.
Well, yeah, just since I get to do that duty most of the time. Duty. It has a big collar right where you attach it to the RV. It really makes it easy to get on and to take off. So I really like that. Over everyone seems to buy that Rhino hose, and this Thetford hose, just to me, is such a better product. So,
yeah.
Yes, it's definitely coming with us. As is the Mr. Long Arm and Slide Out Sweep.
Yeah.
We use it every time we bring the slide in.
The Slide Out Sweep is like one of our first gadgets, I
Yeah.
think. One of the very early things that we had before we even had a slide out, when we had a small trailer with no slide.
Well, we would use it for other things.
Right.
But yeah, I use it to clean off the solar panels. I use it to clean off the top of the slide. It's just, I use it to get stuff out of the, like when stuff slides toward
out of the
front
bed of the truck. Yeah.
So lots of things. So, yeah.
Yeah. We have had our beach lane levelers for a couple of years. And while we really like the Anderson when we had a single axle, Anderson wedges are a little bit too long to fit between our two axles, between our two tires. And another brand was too steep and too short, and I did not like those at all. But the beach lane levelers are like the Goldilocks of levelers. They're just the right length. They're really easy to use. They have extra height kind of attachment on them, and they have never ever let us down.
Yeah, and they come in a little case.
Yes,
like
I love that.
Zippered case.
Their own nylon case.
Yeah,
yep.
We had one leveler, those drive-on wedges, and after the second or third time we used it, it just fell apart.
Yeah.
It was junk. So that one is not going with us because it is somewhere in a landfill.
Well, I use it for our water trailer because we just need a tiny little bit of wheel chock. So I just throw that junky thing under there for a wheel chock. So,
yeah, the beach lane has been, you're right, the Goldilocks.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that I like better than Peggy.
Right.
It's the geyser shower system, and we did an interview with the inventor of this thing. Mm-hmm. And essentially, it's a sponge on a piece of surgical tubing that replaces the shower head.
Right.
And I really, really like it, so much so that I installed one in the house.
In the house, yeah.
And Peggy is not as sold, and that's okay, right? I mean,
right. I'm not as sold. However, I absolutely, positively understand what a great system it is, and I do use it when we're in a place where we might run short of water, water or gray space, right? When we really need to conserve, we want to boondock for 10 days and we don't want to have to go find a place to do all the water stuff. I use it because it takes less than a gallon of water to take a shower.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's a sponge on surgical tubing, and it saves so much water when showering. And as I said, if you're curious about this, there's a link in the show notes. I like it quite a bit. So now here's something that is the first item where we got it, and I'm totally unimpressed. And that's the Lippert refrigerator temperature sensors. Right.
Now, I don't know if they're Bluetooth, right? And we hung one. They're just little, about 1 inch or 1.5 inch squares, diamonds, and they hang inside. And they're supposed to Bluetooth and tell you on your phone what the temperature is in your refrigerator and freezer. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's the stainless steel doors or what the deal is, but we can't seem to hook them up when the refrigerator's closed. When the refrigerator's open, what's the point? The temperature's not going to be accurate.
You're ruining the cold. But yeah. So on those, they're in the fridge. They're going to stay there just because they're there.
Just because they're there, but they don't seem to do what we wanted them to do. They might work for something different. Maybe we'd hang one outside and then we could be inside and say, hey, what temperature is it out there?
I guess that would work. Or if you have stuff in the baggage compartment. Yeah, I guess.
Right. But but
then would it go through the floor?
Oh, that's a good question. They don't seem to go through the refrigerator doors, though.
Now, conversely, we have the Lippert propane sensors, and they're like a little disc that goes on the bottom of the propane tank magnetically. They're fantastic. I mean, you get within 1% increments how full your propane tanks are. The Bluetooth seems to go a good distance. They have not let us down at all.
So those go through the wall.
Yeah, I don't know why the fridge ones don't.
Maybe. Well, we've only tried them in the refrigerator. I wonder if we try them in something like the pass-through.
I don't think it would tell us how cold the fridge is.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, darn.
Hey, is your refrigerator right? Okay, enough of that. Gosh. Anyway, but the propane tank sensors are terrific. So we would absolutely recommend those. And we also put a donut, but not like an edible donut, but this rubber plastic donut on the bottom of the propane tank, because the propane tank sensors extend beyond the bottom of the tank just a tiny bit.
Just a little bit.
So they include these metal feet.
Which we lost one of.
Yeah, we lost one of.
They include 3, which with 3, the tank should sit level and it's great. But when you only have 2, then it just becomes a teeter-totter.
Yeah, it's easy
not
to
that
lose.
helpful.
And these rubber, like, biscuit
They're like
donut
rings.
things.
Yeah,
rings.
that like slide onto that bottom rim that's on the bottom of that your propane tank normally sits on, that metal rim. These slide onto that, and then it's sitting on that rubber, and it's not only is the sensor not getting smashed, but things aren't scratching up and bouncing around as much. Yeah.
I'll put a link to those.
Yeah, those are really good.
Yeah, I like them. Clear to a water filter.
And we have actually bought a couple of these. Yeah, we've had a few of them. We went through a lot of different filters. This has been our favorite, and they get used up, so we've had to replace them. But also, apparently, you need to winterize those.
Well, I'm not okay. So here's the weird thing. So we did a test a while back on these Clear to a water filters, and Peggy really liked the taste of the water, and they just work, and they're fairly convenient. But last December, we were camping, and I exploded the filter and the pre-filter. So it's 2 pieces that kind of nest inside each other and are in line with your water hose. So I blew up the 2. It was quite a loud kaboom.
Boom,
too.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, it's my fault. I will just replace them.
Yeah.
So would you buy it again? We did.
We did.
And I figured, we've been using that filter. So there's a filter element and a pre-filter.
Right.
The filter element nests inside the pre-filter.
Now, the filter element you do have to replace occasionally because that's its job. The pre-filter is kind of a plasticky. It doesn't look like it has holes, but it does. And you can rinse that and kind of scrub it and keep it going a bit longer. But eventually those little holes are going to plug up because that's its job, is to keep the little stuff from getting in your water.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be able to rinse it, flush it.
Right,
so,
right.
Anyway, I blew up both of those. So then I thought, well, that's a bummer. I'm going to, it's on me. I need to replace the filter anyway. So we did. We replaced both pieces. And the pre-filter had a leak after a very short period of time. And the way we put this on is you coming out of the hose bib at the RV park, then a pressure regulator, then the filter, and then your air gear water hose.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I thought, well, it's not like I damaged it. Well, our buddies, Brian and Patrick, they bought one too, and theirs leaked. So I don't know if they had a rash of bad units or I don't know what, but this third one, so I wrote to them. I'm like, hey, dude.
Yeah, they replaced it.
Yeah, so they replaced it. No questions asked. So they were good about it. But anyway, yes, we would continue to use that. And I saw it open, the old one, the old water filter.
Yeah, we did.
It was gross. So keep a mind on how frequently you should probably replace those. It probably shouldn't be orange inside.
It probably shouldn't be orange inside. If your water is starting to taste different, if your water pressure has trickled, has happened to us too. Our water filter just got so full that water couldn't get through. And so we didn't have any water pressure inside. Something else we would definitely buy again, and if only they made it for our size of bed in the house, we would buy.
They do now.
Oh, we have to look again. Is a ghost bed RV mattress.
Oh, it is just. I know mattresses are subjective,
right?
Right, but we really like these ghost bed mattresses, and we found out we have a discount on them.
Yeah, we didn't realize we had a discount code, but we do have a discount code. So if you are in the market for a new mattress, this is something to check out. They do make them in, different styles and different design, like some are just the foam and some are spring and foam. So they do make different styles. But we find it to be more comfortable than our really expensive mattress in the house.
Yeah, and like all the mattresses nowadays, they come wrapped up like a burrito.
Yeah.
You open it, cut the plastic.
It goes boing.
It expands in your RV. I'm very pleased with the ghost bed.
Yeah.
So that no doubt about it. If somehow a ghost came and took the old one, we'd buy a new one.
If a ghost stole our mattress, we'd get a new ghost mattress. Yeah. Ooh. Something else I think we have landed on our favorite is liquefied.
Yeah, RV holding tank treatment.
Yes.
A few weeks ago, well, maybe it was more than that. But anyway,
sometime.
We'll put a link. We spoke with Matt Foxcroft, who is the guy behind this liquefied tank treatment. And usually, you buy these powders or gels or whatever the heck you buy. And I mean, I'm the dude who gets to dump the black and gray tanks typically.
Right.
And usually it's like, it's kind of the same.
Whatever, yeah.
After we started using the liquefied, I truly saw no discernible solids in the flow. You get that
flow was truly liquefied.
Yeah, you get the clear elbow that you attach to the sewer outlet,
which we will never be without.
Yeah,
it's not even on our list, but that is something we will not be without.
Yeah, some of this is just a have to.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with how there were no discernible solids, and the tank is now showing empty. So
yeah.
Now I'm sold on that liquefied.
Yeah. We've also had a few different iterations of a 12-volt cooler or ice chest or refrigerator or whatever you call it. Yeah. And we kept 2 of them. We did give one to my sister. There was nothing really wrong with it. We just happened to be getting another one. And so we rotated one out. We have a Dometic, which we like, and it's humongous.
It's huge.
It's like the size of a home refrigerator practically. So we don't travel with that one very often just because logistically it's heavy and difficult to move around, but we use it around the house a lot.
Yeah, even empty, that 12-volt cooler is big. I like the functionality of that cooler, but then we also got a bodega 12-volt cooler, and what I like about it is it has 2 compartments, and each has their own temp control. So you could have 2 freezers, 2 refrigerators, a freezer and a fridge and a freezer, which and the app is
and
lousy.
You have to say it both ways because the door actually lifts off and turns around, and then you get your left and your right confused.
Yeah, I blew up some beers doing that.
Then we couldn't figure out why our lettuce was freezing and our ice cream was melting, and that's because we got left and right mixed up.
Operator error has been the description
the word of the week.
Yeah, my gosh. But I think the Dometic product is also good. In fact, their app is far superior to the Bodega. The Bodega it's clear that, it came out of China or imported, whereas the Dometic app is good. So I'd probably if I were to buy a smaller cooler, I'd probably favor a Dometic. But the way we use it is in the back seat of our truck.
Yes.
So snacks and there's drinks back there. I mean, you got to have your road beers. I am just kidding. But, I like carbonated water, so those sit in the cooler, and lunch meat and all of that. So,
and it's been really handy for when we had to drop off the travel trailer. Of course, we couldn't leave food in the refrigerator, and we couldn't really leave it on because we didn't know if they'd store it inside and the solar power wouldn't work, and then it would go bad. So we had to completely empty our refrigerator. It's the one time we didn't have a 12-volt cooler with us.
Yeah.
So we did what we could. But then we've done a couple of road trips where we don't have a travel trailer, but we needed to take food. And that bodega sits, like Tony said, in the back seat. It's got enough stuff for snacks, some cold drinks, and then the food we're going to need when we get to where we're going.
Yeah. I really like them. And, the food, like we were camping with family, which I think you might have known this past week, and everybody has a cooler, traditional ice cooler, and you got to find the ice, and then your stuff gets soggy and blah.
Yeah.
The 12-volt cooler, you just plug it into your cigarette lighter. Well, it's not called a cigarette lighter anymore, is it?
It's called a power port, I think. Yeah.
So you plug it into that, or we plug ours into a portable power station.
Yeah.
And we talked all about those.
Oh, yeah. So many portable power station choices.
Yeah. Even the coyotes were interested.
Even the coyotes liked it. That was episode 254. Of course, we'll put a link. And we showed, various sizes, all the different sizes we have and what we use them for, from the little one to charge a phone to the big one to charge the 12-volt cooler. I don't think we'll get rid of any of them. They all have their own use.
Thing.
Yeah.
And some we've bought and some we've gotten from companies to review.
Right.
But I think if I had to pick one, it might be that U-Green.
Yeah, I think the U-Green has been our favorite.
It's kind of, it's a 1200 watt or 1200 amp hour 12-volt power station. And it's kind of the right size, but it's the right size for how we're using it.
Correct.
May not be the right size for everything. So
right.
That's been our favorite. And I like their app too.
Yeah. What about Starlink?
Without a doubt. Starlink is, it's game changing in how it enables you. Well, because we do this, you know, we have
from everywhere.
Yeah. From all over. It has totally changed the game in our travels. And so without a doubt, Starlink is such a big improvement for us. But again, if I didn't have to always stay in touch, basically, I think maybe a cell phone hotspot might be sufficient, or a Peplink router.
Well, I don't know. We have a cell phone hotspot here at the house, and we're going to use the Starlink because our Wi-Fi at home is kind of icky.
Lousy.
Yeah, compared to the Starlink. So we may never turn it off again.
Right? Yeah.
We also have an Omnia oven, and we got that from a Girl Camper giveaway, actually.
Yeah.
And that it has really, at first I was like, who cares? I have an oven. But that thing's really handy, and we've baked a bunch of different stuff in it. Now, would I buy it again? Here's the thing. We talked last week or the week before about trends and how a lot of RVs are coming without ovens.
Yeah.
So if you've got a gas stove top but not an oven, the Omnia oven might be totally worth having.
Could be. The one thing I don't like about it is we haven't tried it yet with the induction cooktop. But in theory, it doesn't work, but it seemed not to.
When they said it doesn't work, but when we first got it, we put it on our induction cooktop, and the induction cooktop didn't say, hey, there's no pan here.
Yeah.
So
we'll
maybe
keep playing with
we'll try it sometime.
What really does work, are those magma. We've had these magma nesting pans, and it's like a pots and pans set with removable handles.
Yep.
And I think they came out of the yachting or boating world. And they nest into this one small package, I guess, that's held together with a ball bungee.
Mm-hmm.
And they look as good as the day we bought them. And they're just solid, good pans that really don't take up much space.
Right.
And without a doubt, I wouldn't ever not have those.
Right.
In fact, if we didn't have the commercial pans we have at home, because we used to own a bed and breakfast, so we have these.
We have really good quality, expensive pans, but those nesting pans serve us just fine. We could have another set in the house. Now, the ones we have don't work on induction.
Right, the Magma set doesn't work on induction.
But they do make Magma sets that do.
Correct, and they make non-stick sets.
Sure,
but it's since RV kitchens are so space constrained, these Magma nesting pans, they're just I wouldn't think to use anything else. Yeah. Other than that Omnia, if that works for you.
Now, here's something we buy and buy and buy because we wear them out because we use them so much as our AeroPress coffee makers.
Oh, yeah. We even have them here at the house. We have a proper coffee maker here at the house, but for like an afternoon quickie coffee, that didn't sound right. Hello. For an afternoon coffee that's, rapid, I don't know. I dug myself into a hole with that, and I'm not getting out. Sometimes we use the AeroPress for that, too. And we literally have worn these things out. We use them so much. Yeah. And
if you've used them and you want to know how we've worn them out, that kind of rubber plunging part, when you put that in and out as many times as we have, that rubber just gets kind of loose.
Yeah. Eventually, it doesn't hold a seal well. Yeah. So, but that's okay. They're only, $25 or $30 each. So,
but we will not we will never not have. That's
Yeah.
too many negatives.
Boy, what is it with that AeroPress?
We'll never not have those.
Well, and it makes great coffee. It's plastic, so it doesn't break.
Yeah.
Super
easy cleanup. Like a lot of people recommend a French press, and yeah, I get it. French press is really good coffee. It's the same concept, but instead of having to scoop the grounds out of the bottom of your French press where you've pressed them down to the bottom, all you have to do is plunge this little disc of grounds and one single flat disc of paper, and it falls right into the trash can, and bing, bang, boom, you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, you could wipe it off, but...
And it, like I say, it makes great coffee. And I'm kind of a coffee picky person, so I'm very pleased. All right, so hitches. We originally had a Camco Ease Lift. What is it? I forgot the number of it. Oh, anyway, there's a link in the show notes or on the YouTube channel to this review that we did, and it was a good hitch. I liked it. I had no complaints with it, other than when our trailer got heavier, the way they compensate for the weight in this weight distribution hitch is with these bars, and they sell bars of different capacities.
Right.
Makes sense. And they're very easy to swap out. Well, we went through 3 shipments to try to get the heavier bars because UPS or whoever they used kept losing them, or
we'd get empty boxes or boxes with a big hole in it, or it took some doing to end up with 2 of them. And in fact, when the first box we got that we actually received had 1, and then we said, just send us 1, and they said, oh no, we can't split up a pair. I'm like, well, split up a pair to send us 1 here. So, and that box wasn't ripped. That literally they put intact. 1 in a box. But anyway, it took us some doing to get a hitch that was heavy enough for our trailer.
Yeah. So anyway, but that hitch was good, and it wasn't very expensive.
Right.
But then we talked to the folks at B&W, and got the Continuum hitch. I saw this thing as soon as I saw it, and I'm like, ooh la la, I want one of those so much. And I think it's the best hitch I've ever used, and I've towed a lot of trailers. It's really easy to attach. It doesn't make all kinds of squawking noises.
No, it doesn't.
It's just a well thought through hitch. However, and yes, we would absolutely buy that again.
Sure.
We did try to get into your cousin's driveway, and there's a hydraulic ram. This is one of the neat things about it. There's a hydraulic ram that lets you compensate for the weight that's in your trailer. And yes, we do change the amount of force on that, which is easy to do.
Right.
Based on the trailer. And there's a whole way of figuring out how to do this. It's actually not difficult, but like we have water, or we have no water.
Mm-hmm.
We have more stuff, less stuff, bikes on the back, no bikes on the back.
That determines how much pressure we're going to put in that hydraulic.
Right. So, but that ram kind of hangs down. And when we tried to get into her cousin's driveway, it scraped and we couldn't do it.
We couldn't get in. Just the shape of the dip between the driveway and the street just wouldn't let us get in. We went and found a nearby campground. It was okay. But that is one thing to know, is it sits a little lower than the others.
Yeah, I have scraped it a couple of times. The other thing is, on our Rockwood, there's a cross member on the frame right below the propane tanks, and I had to cut that.
And Rockwood did not say that was okay.
Pleased with that. So either of these 2 hitches, the Camco or the B&W, are hitches I like. I like the B&W more, but there may be some limit. Like, for example, our friends with an Intech trailer couldn't use it because the A-arm on the front of their trailer has 3. There's like one in the middle and one on either side.
Oh, right.
So they couldn't use it at all.
Right.
So some trailers may not even be able to use it, but it's not inexpensive. It seems very well made, and I like it. So,
there
we go. Oh, sorry, right.
That's why I was waiting for you, because you can talk more about this than I can.
Better Weight. Well, have you seen me use it? We tried to use it when we first got it. They sent it to us for a review.
Now, this is the one that you put somewhere and then you read it on.
Well, you put it on the OBD2. All cars have this thing called OBD. Well, all cars after 96 have a thing called OBD2. It's a connector where the mechanic can plug in and read the codes on your car. But it also provides information. And this Kurt Betterway, through finagling magic and who knows what, is supposed to determine how heavy your trailer is.
Okay.
Save your money.
Okay.
It's I never got it to work properly. It's fiddly. Save your money.
Okay. So that was supposed to tell you if your trailer was too heavy for your truck?
Well, just how much your trailer
much your trailer was pulling on your, or the tongue weight, not the whole weight.
It's the weight of the trailer, and I guess the way it calculates it is you're supposed to drive around with nothing on your truck.
Oh, okay.
And then it knows, so those things have throttle position, and so you press the throttle and you achieve a certain amount of speed, it knows, okay, then that's how that works. And then when you have something hooked to the back, you press the throttle and it has a lesser amount of speed. It thinks, oh, it takes that much more energy to pull that big box behind us. And
so it was kind of basically, though, just a scale. It wasn't anything to modify the weight or adjust the weight or anything like that.
To give you information. And like the fridge sensors, it just
didn't seem to cut the mustard.
Sorry, two fails from our friends at Lippert. But there's a lot of positives. So let's do one that would we bring the Lippert pop-up gazebo with us? It's a 6-sided tent, and some of you may have
like a clam or a gazebo or a gazelle. I think a bunch of different companies make them. We got the one from Lippert. I really like it.
Yeah,
it goes up really easily.
Even with one person only.
Even me, as long as I can find something to just give myself an extra 8 or 10 inches of height, because I'm not quite tall enough to pop the center.
Mr. Longarm.
Mr. Longarm is my answer. I really do like it. Now, Tony and I have acknowledged something about ourselves. When just the two of us are traveling, even if we're in a place for 3 or 4 days, we don't spend a lot of time sitting outside the camper.
No.
We either sit inside and work, or we get in the car and go somewhere to explore, and we don't take that much advantage of sitting outside when it's the two of us. Now, when there are other people around, totally do. So I think that the Lippert gazebo is going to matter where we're going and if we're going to be with other people. If we're doing a trip to go and do a job somewhere where we're just going to be in the camper or working or at a job site or whatever, probably we don't need to carry it. But if we're going to be hanging out with other people, I'd say I want to have it.
Okay. I'll buy that for $1.
Okay.
And also, it's going to be until we get the camper back. That will be our tent.
That's right.
Well, we also have the Privy Bivy.
The Privy Bivy?
This was not on our list, but it's a toilet tent.
Right.
And we have a Camco portable toilet.
Now, those we don't carry with us normally.
No, for RVing, no.
But we have been looking forward to doing this tent camping, where we just use the gazebo as the tent and use the Privy Bivy and the portable toilet so that we don't have to, find our way to the bathhouse in the middle of the night. I'm looking forward to doing it all.
I am too.
I'm not going to suggest that we ever get rid of those things, even though they really aren't going to do us a lot of good for a lot of times. But on the other hand, there might also be a few times that I just go camping with the girls and I don't feel like towing the trailer. I can just do it as a tent camping setup.
Well, we had talked about, this Ram that we have now has 4-wheel drive and it's very capable, as a big truck off-road. So we had planned to do some overlanding. We just haven't yet.
That's right. And that's why one of the things that we thought of when we got the flated air topper.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, speaking of, would we get that again?
Oh, I think absolutely.
Yeah.
That has been a great, great gadget. We've talked a lot about it. It's inflatable. It's really easy to put on and take off. I can do it myself. We use it. It's not waterproof, but if you're driving through the rain, it protects the things that are in the bed of the truck so they don't get wet or too sunburned or too easily grabbable out of the bed of the truck. I think it's got a lot of great uses. Again, maybe we wouldn't both camp in it, as we kind of have talked about, but our friend Dee and her dad, Rex, they're traveling all over the country and they're sleeping together in the back of the truck.
They saw our review of the Flated and then they bought one.
Yeah.
And
she set it up really nice in the back. They've got very comfortable platforms for beds and everything. And we talked about doing that. I think we're not good at crawling in and out from the foot of the bed.
No, I mean,
and that's where I think would be our, but on the other hand, if I went by myself, let's say with the flated, I know that we can get one cot in there. I could put a cot, or you could put a cot, put the air mattress on the cot and sleep inside there. I'm up off the ground and, I can't stand up to change my clothes, but I can sit up to get out of bed. So,
what's wrong with changing clothes outside?
Well, nothing, but unless there's other people around.
Yeah. All right. I think the last thing we have on this list are our electric 2.0 e-bikes.
3.0.
3.0, you're right.
That's right. And that's another one that I think is really trip dependent. Right. If we are going somewhere, and unfortunately, we're always going to somewhere new. We don't know if it's going to be a great place to ride a bike. So the last time we didn't take the bikes, we wish we had them. The time before, we did take the bikes and never took them out of the camper. Or out of the truck, I should say. So it's kind of a hit and miss. And there are times that I definitely think we want to have bikes. I'm not suggesting we get rid of them.
No, gosh, no. Well, in fact, I'll be using it Thursday because we're getting a bunch of work done on the truck.
That's right.
So as you're listening to this, the truck's going to get just routine maintenance.
Yeah.
But I take the truck to the mechanic. It's like 3 miles away. I ride the bike back.
And if you had happened to need to go out of town this week like you thought you might, and I have a dentist appointment on Friday, I'd be riding my bike to the dentist like the last time we were.
The dentist is right across from the mechanic.
That's right. So the e-bikes are something we've enjoyed. We probably don't use them nearly as much as some people do, but they are something that we like to have with us. And hopefully when we take them with us, we get them out and use them.
Yeah. Well, and then we've gone through 2 bike racks.
Right.
Last summer we got rear-ended. We had
2 years.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
We had this Kurt. See, there's a good product. There's one of many good products from Kurt. This Kurt bike rack, the aluminum tray-style bike rack.
Yes.
It got crushed. It's not good for getting rear-ended.
No, it's not good, but it protected us a lot.
Yeah.
But we were not able to get a Kurt in time for our trip after the rear-ending between buying the second camper and needing to get on the road. And so we did go to our local bike shop. We love that bike shop, and we got the best quality rack that they had in stock. It would be great for
a little bit.
Like bikes, like 10 speeds or road bikes or whatever, not heavy
so then
electric
we bought
bikes.
Another Kurt aluminum tray style bike rack.
Right.
And so I guess the question, would you buy it again? We did.
We did buy it again.
There you go.
Yeah, we go through this whole process. Are we going to take the bikes? If we're going to take the bikes, are we going to put them on the Kurt, or are we going to put them in the truck and put the other bike rack on the back? Because it is really good at carrying our heavy, comfortable chairs, my rocker and his zero gravity chair.
Folding camp chairs.
So every trip is its own packing list, kind of.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's
it's good to have choices.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So
that is kind of our list, right?
Yeah. We bring? There's most of it. We're very pleased with what we got.
Yeah.
A couple of things, and a couple of things are trip dependent. So there you go.
Right.
So after 5 years, we've learned that we pack differently depending on the adventure.
Right. Exactly. So this week I got an email from Passport America and said that Doris joined Passport America.
Welcome.
And now, welcome, Doris. Thank you. And now Doris is enjoying half-price camping fees
And
at participating campgrounds, which are all over the country.
Something I like about Passport America, a lot of these discount programs or whatever are, like if you hold your hand up in the air and dance a certain dance
On your left foot.
right, then maybe you'll get a discount.
On a half moon.
Yeah. But this Passport America has actually really legitimately worked well for us. We have saved a ton of money. So if when it comes time to renew, there's not going to be any question.
Correct, yeah.
For us. So
Right.
I guess it is something we take with us.
I guess so. I guess that's a list that we could do, all the memberships and apps that we use that we would pay for again.
Some of them, no.
Yeah.
But not Passport America. Passport America, without a doubt.
Yeah.
We have a discount code,
We
right?
do have it's a referral number. I can't remember if it's a discount, but it's really, you use it twice and you've paid for it. So
without a doubt.
the price is very, very reasonable. We do have a referral number. I'll say it, but it'll also be written in the notes. It's R03-49751. R. And if you go to Passport America and use that referral code, we get a thank you, and we thank you, and we thank you, Doris, for joining up for that, and we thank all of you who have done it that didn't do it this week, so you're not written down on my list. But anyway, happy half-price camping.
Yeah. Let us know. You can always join the discussion in our Facebook group. Let us know how your experience with this has been, because I know some areas are better served than others.
Sure.
So there you go.
So we haven't been camping, but we have been traveling.
Yeah.
Last week we were in Sedona, and we actually, recorded from Sedona. You could see the red rocks in our background,
nice.
and we talked about things to do in Sedona. This last week we were in Pagosa Springs, kind of for the long weekend, for the holiday weekend. And we did a couple things in Pagosa Springs, and there was a lot of things that we have not got to do because of what we did do. So we stayed at the Worldmark Timeshare, which is, I've talked about that. My mom started with that membership, and now a lot of my family members, and that's how we do big family gatherings. And we had a really nice room overlooking a really nice lake. Unfortunately, it was 3 flights up, a narrow staircase, but whatever. We were there. And so we did get to stay there. But the reason we were in Pagosa Springs is my sister has a boutique store, an Etsy store called Baby Maverick Boutique, and she does a lot of craft fairs. And she does a craft fair over 4th of July weekend in Pagosa Springs. So we spent our time hanging out with my family and my sister.
Which was great.
Yeah, at her booth at the park, and, shopping at the craft fair and things like that. And really looking at what other things there are to do if we were ever to go back.
No, we will definitely go back.
Right, that's what I mean. When we go back,
Right.
that's not for 4th of July craft fair. There are a lot of campgrounds. I saw one when I was taking the quote-unquote shortcut out of the timeshare with my mom. And so there are lots of places to camp. What we saw a lot of people doing that really looks fun is tubing down the San Juan River. It's you just rent a tube, like a big truck tire size tube, and you just sit in it and float down the river. It's
lazy rivers. Just
it's kind of lazy river style. Yeah, I did
but
see.
I think this was more rapid, not
It's
rapids, but
not
it's
rapids, but more rapid than a lazy river, but not scary by any means. There were little kids floating by themselves. I saw 2 little kids holding ropes between their two. You can get double tubes, but for some reason they had single tube and they were holding a rope, and they kind of got stuck on a rock and they had to wiggle themselves off the rock. But it looks like a lot of fun and kind of relaxing and, cool. Obviously, your backside's in the water at least. And so that looks like a really lot of fun. And another thing is because, it's called Pagosa Springs. Why? There are springs. There are natural hot mineral springs in Pagosa Springs and, tons of other places. But one of the free places that you can soak actually is right in the river. You just walk, park nearby and walk down and sit in the hot water at Nathan's Hippie Dip. And it's a free experience, and it's in the river and right there downtown. So, Just go hang out, or there are lots of like spas and, kind of paid places to go if you want a different experience, but to just go and I think, float to the hot spring and then sit there for a while and then float down farther.
That sounds like
Sounds
fun.
kind of fun.
There's also a couple of breweries that we did not go to.
That's right. Pagosa Springs to go camping and sitting in the water and tubing. We will also be drinking some beer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What a surprise.
What a surprise.
Well, our recipe of the week this week isn't so much a recipe.
It's not so much a recipe as Tony's new obsession.
It is my obsession. If you're
Maple
watching
Spam.
on video, you see me holding up a can of maple Spam. And ever since we've been to the Spam Museum,
right,
I'm obsessed with this stuff. I love Spam anyway.
Right.
I should have been Hawaii.
We love
Hawaiian.
Spam. And we found out about maple Spam, and we bought some at the gift shop at the Spam Museum.
They had a lady come round with samples, and we tried the maple Spam. Oh, my gosh, that's good.
That's right. And then we have been looking. Tony's been looking, at every grocery store. It's not everywhere.
Easy to find.
And I don't know if that's because it's new and it hasn't gone mainstream yet, or if it's just not mainstream enough to go mainstream. But
I'm gonna say, and I'm not gonna lose my man card over this, but maple Spam is
he's going there.
almost as good as bacon, and because it's so easy to deal with, you don't have to refrigerate it. It's not messy when you cook it. For RVing, the combination of ease of use and it just tastes good to me.
Right. And ease of cleanup.
Right. Well, that's what I mean by ease of use.
We don't fry bacon inside the camper.
Oh, no.
Because of the grease and the smell and it's a messy mess.
We have a griddle that came with our camper, and if we're not too lazy, we hook it up. But you literally have to crawl under the darn camper to hook it up. So,
we need to make one of those modifications like some people did.
Bacon is better than maple Spam, but for the factor of convenience,
it'll last forever in this can. You don't need refrigeration. It's very easy. It's a lot more easy to clean up. Tastes really good. You can get like sandwich size slabs out of it, which we did when we were with my sister, and we had
I made breakfast
bagels
sandwiches. With breakfast waffles.
Oh, and that's right. I made protein waffles, and we had breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah. So anyway,
that's our quote-unquote recipe for the week.
If you can find maple Spam.
Just a kind of a quick reminder, you have all those we have all those safety gadgets. Maybe you have all those safety gadgets. Use them.
Yeah.
Don't just buy a gadget because we say it's a good safety gear and then never use it. Get that tire pressure monitor out and check your tire pressure. Get your torque wrench and check the torque on your lug nuts. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. Look for wear on your hitch. Look for holes in your hoses, especially your black hose. You don't want a hole in that thing.
Well, there is 2 holes, one at each end, but you don't want...
Right. You don't want those little pinholes that are going to start leaking. Just, inspect and use your maintenance and safety gadgets. That's our tip for the week.
Well, the other thing is, there's still a huge shortage of RV techs.
Yes.
If you know somebody who might understand which side of the screwdriver to hold, tell them, getting into the RV repair business is pretty easy. There are a couple of good schools. We interviewed Curtis Hemler from the RV training. I don't remember the name of it. Technical Institute. And it's very inexpensive and very easy to become an RV tech. And my gosh, it's a great job.
Yeah.
And you're in the business of making people happy. So
right. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Last week we didn't ask a new question because our previous question, what are your favorite, looks like you were left unattended
with $100 bill
snacks on the road. We left that question up. I don't think we got any new answers, but we did get some great answers, and we encourage you to go check out those answers, especially if you're getting ready for a road trip and you need to know what to shop for. And so our question for this week is, how are you staying cool this summer?
Yeah, what are your tips for staying cool? Because, boy, there have been some record heats.
There have been some record heats. There have been some hot places, and so how are you fighting that heat?
Yeah.
And as you know, you can answer that question. You can read about all those snacks and ask questions. We're there to talk about camping, right?
Yeah.
And that's at our fun and friendly StressLess Campers Facebook group.
Right. And of course, you probably are sick of us telling you that we do a once a week newsletter that's absolutely free, that's got hints and tips and links to our stories and videos and all that stuff, and other ones that we think might have value for you.
That's right.
So, and you can sign up for that free. We never share your information. Just go to the website if it's your first time. Welcome. And if not, the sign-up form's at the bottom of every page on the website.
Yep.
And we, like I said, we never, ever share your information.
Nope. And we don't send more than one email a week because we just ain't got time for that.
Right.
Also on the website, you can find the show notes on the podcast page. And this is episode number 263 at StressLessCamping.com. That's right. We are now entering season 6.
Whoa. Woo! And of course, also on the website are discounts and deals. A lot of these things that we mentioned, we may have a discount for. So there's links in the show notes to all the stuff we talked about.
Right. And we are updating that all the time. Like the ghost bed thing that we kind of had let slip through our fingers is more prominent now.
Yeah.
And so if you looked before, go ahead and look again because you might find something new that you didn't.
Yeah.
Or you might have heard about a gadget today and you want to find out how to get a discount on that gadget.
Yeah, right.
And we're in all the social places, but you can start at StressLessCamping.com. And when you're done reading all through that, you can jump off with those little blue icons at the top to Facebook, etc. I don't know. Facebook, I can't keep track of all those.
That works. Facebook, etc.
TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, X.
And of course, if you don't want to miss a future episode of the StressLess Camping podcast,
it's free.
That's right. And you can get it on any podcast app or listen right on our website.
And we are saving you a seat around our virtual campfire.
And every week we ask, if you would be so kind to leave a review of this podcast, because it really makes a difference. And we did get a good handful of reviews over the past couple of weeks, and one of them was a 3-star review out of 5. And I really respect that because I'm going to read it here. Dog 78580 made a great point. He said, now that StressLess Camping is doing a video, you seem to be downpedaling the descriptions of verbal description of the things you might be talking about on the podcast, assuming people are seeing it.
Right.
And you know what? You're absolutely right.
You're totally right. We have a little bit of a habit of just holding up the can of Spam and saying, we love this.
Right.
And not saying what this is. And if people are still listening to a podcast instead of watching it on a video, they don't know what this is.
The number of people who are audio listeners,
right,
compared to the number of people looking at us on YouTube, it's vastly bigger number of audio listeners. Yeah. So we do apologize. You're right. We dropped the ball on that, and we hope that this episode, you're just like, oh, okay, they're back to abnormal again. Thank you, Dog 78580. I really appreciate the honest reviews. That's what we've asked for. You delivered, and hopefully you not only helped yourself, but helped others who listen to this podcast too.
Right. So if you have already reviewed us, or you don't want to, and you see something that you like, or you read a question on one of those social places and you say, hey, I know that StressLess Camping answered that question, please feel free to go in and copy the link to our blog post or episode or whatever it is and share that with whoever you see asking questions. And that helps us because we get more eyeballs and earballs on our material, and it helps the people that you're helping.
Yep.
So you're doing good for everyone.
Yeah, thank you twice. So with that, we appreciate that we've been able to do this for 5 years, 263 episodes.
That's right.
Wow. So with that, thank you so much for being there every week. Oh, and
StressLess Camping.
All right, Peggy and I are staying at this timeshare. Beautiful place. There's our truck with all our stuff. And from that you can tell we are on the 3rd floor. And so we have to take these semi-rickety stairs up and down to get, you know, our stuff down. So speaking of our stuff, this is Peggy's old laundry bag, and she has had it for 30 years. And we took a vote this morning as to whether it gets carried down or we use the power of gravity. And the vote was, God, I hate high places, the power of gravity. So, without any further ado, look out below! Huh, it survived. Blimey. Well, that's good. All right, now I gotta go get the damn thing.